Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to week 2 of Summer School for the Hero's Journey Masterclass. Thank you so much for tuning in and for joining us for the second of the Jade Tablets. So, this is the second, number 2. This is the Game of Destiny, my illustrated birth chart. And I wanted to just start today with a little quick disclaimer about what I'm about to show you, in that I am going to share with you my complete birth chart, in so much as the amount I'm about to show you today is a huge sort of glimpse into the true nature of my life, my past, my ancestry, my roots, my destiny, my forward trajectory. And it's actually quite important that we understand the power of understanding one's birth chart. And actually, by knowing my date of birth and even down to maybe the time and the place that I was born, not only can I understand my own birth chart, but other people can understand my birth chart. Now, you might not think this is necessarily important, and you might even, if you are in this sort of world, you might hear people saying, oh, never share your birth chart, never share your birthday with anybody because they can then use that against you. And this is absolutely correct. And I want to sort of uphold this idea that it is your birthday, your life path number, your birth chart can be manipulated against you, to be used against you, as in your own destiny. Things people can find out about you in particular that you might not even know can actually be used to steer you off path, keep you away from perhaps opportunities or crossroads in life that you were meant to naturally reach, that perhaps other people didn't want you to reach. And my story, as you stick around to learn my story, you will see that that's definitely been the case for me. So my birth chart has already been known for a very long time, maybe even linked to prophecy. But I've only been in the last 5-6 years sort of aware of the power of my birth chart, and the power of what I'm about to show you is now, not only aware for me, but I realize has been out there for a really long time. And so I'm not sort of necessarily fearful of sharing my birth chart, because people that thought they could try and get it over on me have already tried and failed absolutely miserably. So, I'm now far more in command of my birth chart and understanding who I am, that I really cannot be touched. And I want to offer that opportunity to my students and my initiates and my collective in this tribe. It's part of the outcome, skill, and objective of this course, that I help you understand your birth chart, and that you can then use it to your strengths and play to your strengths, as opposed to letting your birth chart be used against you, or even wasted in the fact that you never realize the power and the magic that lies coded within your DNA, coded within your intergalactic signature, which is truly magnificent and very, very exciting. So what I'm trying to say is that, you will find that in every walk of life, your birthday or your date of birth is asked for by society, by the government, by the law, as a way of identifying you. And there is a lot more to this than people realize. It is way more than simply a signifier for sort of proving your identity. There are ways in which your birthday has power that you may not have ever realized. And I would like to be able to share that with you and put you in control, give you the reins, and also help illuminate to you the magic and power that is in your journey, that is in your destiny, and that you have a path, you have a purpose, there is a plan that you are destined to fulfill in this life. And it may resonate to lives you've had previously. It may resonate to lives that you're going to have beyond this world. And of course, the most important thing we can do is work with what we have right now. And we are in this world right now, and we are beholden to the day that we were born and the time that we were born and the parents that we were born to and the families that we were born into. And that's something none of us have choice over. And we may get into our 40s before we really understand perhaps some of the illusion and the wrong information, maybe even, dare I say it, lies, deception, betrayal, secrets, deep hidden truths that haven't been revealed, maybe even inheritances, trusts, wills, bequeaths that were left to you by ancient ancestors, be that in gifts that are physical, that you have in the 3D, something waiting for you in a safety deposit box somewhere in Switzerland or in a bank somewhere, those kinds of gifts, or maybe property. But actually there's the other gifts that your grandparents and their grandparents and all of your ancestors before you had given you. And those exist in your blood, in your DNA, in your physical being, in your energetic being, in your emotional body, in your psychic body, that which is spiritual, that which isn't necessarily just solid earth and solid body, but that which cannot be seen, cannot be sensed by the normal senses. You need to reach out into your sixth sense and your intuition and tap into those other gifts which perhaps have lain dormant all this time, waiting for this moment for you to discover exactly who you are. And then you're able to, you know, like young King Arthur being able to pull the sword from the stone, Excalibur. He could only do that when he believed he was worthy to have and hold that sword. So it's often, you know, there's a lovely expression, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I believe that our birth chart and understanding our place in the cosmos is part of that journey. So I am going to share with you the wonder of my birth chart, which I have illustrated. And it really was one of the igniting touch papers of my artistic journey for me to understand that I was able to illustrate and articulate with my hands and with art quite how astonishing and spectacular my true, I just saw 9/11, you know, my true position and place in this cosmic dance. And I've been on a merry little dance myself ever since, trying to find out more and more and more. And if I hadn't learned all of these things about myself, I would never have stepped into my power to understand and figure all of this stuff out for the course. Like, everything has been one door opening after another. And only when I had a bit more information about this aspect of my life was I able to understand and get my head around these other bits that were going on. So Spirit has allowed me to see only what I could deal with at that time, only what my consciousness was ready and prepared for. And as my consciousness has been expanded and broadened and brought into even more glorious Technicolor, I can see a little bit more of the map and the bigger picture every single day. And my goodness, guys, it's beautiful out here. I'm telling you that. So 10 minutes of an intro, that's perfect. I wanted to emphasize that this isn't something, you know, you shouldn't just share your birthday with anybody that's asking. Or if someone wants to know exactly when you were born, the day, the date, the day, the month, the year, and the time, then you should be asking them why they want that information. And there is going to be, after I finish this video, I'm going to put a link in the description box where you can get a free birth chart. If you have not started exploring this yet, we will get onto this in the hero's journey, but absolutely you can start now, and you can go and have a look at your birth chart right now and see what that's saying to you. But for all intents and purposes, this is my game of destiny, and this is my birth chart. So I also want to, let me just turn that one around as well, because I'm going to show you something special in a minute. I also want to say that this is an A2 size. The actual original was on A4, which is a quarter of this. I actually did the original on an A4, and I've had this since blown up onto an A2, which is awesome because it actually suggests how miniature I actually did this whole picture. And I will also post a link to the original picture in the description box below, because this links to the final project of the Hero's Journey course. I want, by the end of the course, which will end in spring 2023, that everybody on the course has created and illustrated their own birth chart that is relevant and beautiful and pertinent to them. There's not really any guidelines beyond it being your birth chart. And I'm going to give the way I've done mine as a really good baseline and example, because it is about the planets that were present in your chart, or sorry, that were where the planets were in each specific zodiac or house in your chart at the moment you were born. And that is really the magic of your birth chart. So we're going to be looking at the way I've done mine as an example, but this is going to be a final dissertation piece for everybody on the course to produce something similar. And obviously you can do it on A4 as well, and you can blow it up and frame it and hang it with pride, or you can go all out and do it on the large. Now, I will say that all the other jade tablets were created on this size. So all of the other ones were on this size. This very special one was actually drawn on A4. Before I knew I was doing the jade tablets, before I even knew that I could draw this well and that I had all this magic in me just waiting to pour forth, I did it on A4, which started out as a doodle and became probably the piece I'm most proud of so far. But there's a lot of jade tablets now, and they are all wonderful pieces of me coming together. So I love them all, but this one holds a very special place in my chart. So let's begin. There is a lot of subliminal information. There's a lot of subtext going on. There is a sense of a mystic world and an ordinary world. So there is the iceberg where we can only see the tip of the iceberg. There's all this symbolism going on under the surface, where this whole rest of the iceberg cannot necessarily be seen with normal eyes. But here we are, able to suddenly see new layers, new meaning, hidden understanding. And I believe that everything has a double meaning. Everything has a hidden meaning for us to discover. And so the underlying structure is the tree of life. These orbs are the tree of life, representing the planets in our solar system. And a sneak preview at the 5th jade tablet, which is the tree of life. This is the traditional tree of life shape and sacred geometry that I wanted you to see. Sorry, it's got a bit bright suddenly. There we go. I wanted to bring to your mind the shape of the tree of life. So there are 10, starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Sephira or Sephiroth, and each of these represent a planet and twinned with a chakra in the body. Now, this is pretty much the tree of life of your birth chart that is superimposed over here, and that is all you're going to see of the tree of life until week 5. But everything blends together in harmony, so there is a connection between these different tablets. So, starting or returning to this idea, you see the orbs are here. Those 10 Sephiroth are here, but they are illustrated in different ways to either bring forward their planetary physicality, the shape, the size, the rings of Saturn. But actually, I've got some other fun stuff going on down here. So you'll see how I've done it. And I want to, let's see, it seems to be better on this side. Okay. Light-wise. Okay. And the other thing I was going to say initially is, before we get into the heroes, before we get into the birth chart aspect specifically, also check out this road. Looks like a gravel road running through my birth chart. This is actually the asteroid belt running between Jupiter and Mars. So this is Mars over here, and this is Jupiter over here. The asteroid belt runs right through the middle between Mars and Jupiter. And this is the remnants of another planet that was in our solar system in the same order. It used to be between Mars and Jupiter. And I acknowledge this planet as Tiamat, the big feminine planet, like sister to Jupiter, that was destroyed in a major catastrophe, either through some kind of collision with another planet, such as Nibiru or Marduk is another way we might call that planet. But there is also things that were being done on Mars at that time that may well have created a catastrophe, because in that catastrophe, when Tiamat was destroyed and blown into 11 different parts, the 11 asteroid goddesses, we call them, they became the asteroid belt. And those parts of that planet are still circling in the energy field and have never disappeared, but they are unacknowledged and unrecognized and unidolized because they don't feature as a planet visible to us. And so we don't understand the magical history. And I'm going to bring it back. I am bringing back Tiamat and all of her daughters into our consciousness, into our understanding, and into our hearts, because they've actually been guiding us this whole time, and it's about time we honor them. So on the asteroid belt themselves, you can see T for Tiamat, L for Lemuria. Lemuria is the lost water kingdom. We've got sorry, it's me going around the wrong way. This is, yeah, I don't know if this is going to be reversed for you guys. It probably shouldn't be, because I don't know. The other one was reversed as well. There's nothing I can do about that. But I will put up a picture, as I say, of the original so that you can see this afterwards. So we have Tiamat, we have Lemuria, we have Ceres, and we have Vesta. Ceres and Vesta are the two largest asteroid goddesses visible to the naked eye in the asteroid belt, but actually there are many, many more, and we are going to explore them. I also have an M for Marduk and an N for Nibiru. And we have an A for Atlantis hidden all over. There's lots of A's for Atlantis, because Atlantis had many strongholds, many outposts all around the world, mostly emanating from its Mediterranean center on the Atlantic, the bridge of Europe between the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, possibly through the Straits of Gibraltar as a very iconic point indeed. But there are outposts of Atlantean knowledge and Atlantean architecture and Atlantean wisdom and artifacts found everywhere around the planet, which suggests that it proves that they had moved their community and colonies out and reached every culture potentially. And that is why many people believe that Atlantis is in their place and not in other places. But I believe Atlantis was everywhere. But it also had an original first kingdom too. And that is also something that we're going to look at and understand, where those peoples who were in the Atlantis that fell in the flood, what happened to them and where they went. And that's a big part of the hero's journey, as we trace back our own ancestors and understand the journey that they came on. Even if it's 15 generations behind us, they are still in our blood, they're still in our DNA, and they're still part of the Akashic library of wisdom that we're tapping into when we tap into our spirit guides and our ancestors. So this is way more than just your grandparents' generation and their grandparents' generation. We're talking, in my case, I've got 900 years of mapped family history. That's a long time. A lot of people don't have that much. Anyway, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but this stuff's very fascinating to me. So, it's easy to get lost in it. But there's lots of things I want to share with you on here. So keep in mind that when this comes to you, you're going to be doing this for your birthday, for your birth chart, for exactly where your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign is, and whichever other astrological systems you want to use, you can incorporate those as you learn about them in the course and as you learn about them in your own studies. There is no limit. There is no exhaustive list for how many different symbolisms, archetypes, birth charts, astro systems that you want to call on, because it is all part of your own beautiful signature, your galactic signature. And I was going to say something else about, it'll come back to me, I'm sure. So, oh yeah, the other thing, as I explain this to you, I have started with the basic 2 astro systems that we recognize, the West and the East, as a imprint to begin with. And then I have emboldened and illustrated and embellished with the Chinese calendar, the Mayan calendar, the rune calendar. What other ones have I got? I've got some other South American stuff. I've got my Native American animal spirits as well, and a few other bits thrown in. So on the planet itself, I'm going with my tropical sign. So tropical is considered the West, and Vedic is considered the Eastern idea of astrology. Very, very different in that Vedic acknowledges the precession of the equinoxes, and tropical astrology doesn't. Now, the precession of the equinoxes is fully valid and should be acknowledged, but it is not acknowledged by tropical astrology. And tropical is the one that most of the world think we're in. So most of the world believe we're in a new moon in Virgo right now, when actually the Vedic chart would say we're in a new moon in Leo, that we've just come out of that we're just moving into Leo season after the Lion's Gate. And it's interesting that I'm starting the course at this time of year, because this is a unique crossover point between the Lion and the Virgo, the Leo and the Virgo sign. But anyway, I digress. To make it easy to understand and to make it fun and obvious on the page as to what's going on, my tropical sign is on the planet itself, and my Vedic sign is next to it. Okay? So my Vedic sign, and my tropical sign for Pluto is Libra. And that doesn't change. Some of my signs change in the Vedic, some of them don't. But I love the ones that do, because they actually bring more to the table and show me that I'm so much more than even my tropical birth chart would have me believe. So I'm of the school of thought that we should incorporate as much information as we possibly can, rather than feel restrained or restricted by one particular astrological system, because actually all of them play a part, and or depending on where you were born and where you live in the world, they may well worship and acknowledge different systems, different ways of recognizing and worshipping the 4 directions, our spirit guides, the natural world. Tropical astrology isn't very grounded. In fact, it's laughed off by most people as being completely pointless and ridiculous, whereas actually, if you really knew your science and you really understand about cosmology, you'd realize that astrology is simply a symbolic reference point for the constellations in our sky. Constellations which have never changed and will never change, absolutely fixed cycles in the physical world that science has decided to eliminate as having any importance. Well, I'm setting out on a journey to try and disprove that, and actually prove that those constellations and how they relate to our inner astrology is fundamental to understanding who we are, where we've come from, and where we're going. Okay? So I have Pluto in Libra. This is Pluto up here. Pluto in Libra in both my Vedic and my tropical chart. Saturn, I have Virgo Saturn, and in Vedic it jumps to Leo. I suppose I can show you all my Virgo placements. So this is the sun. This is my Virgo sun sign. I then have Virgo Saturn and Virgo Mercury and Virgo North Node. And you can't see him down there. So Virgo North Node. So this is the Earth. So I've done South Node of the Moon and North Node of the Moon. These are other aspects more relevant in your Vedic understanding of astrology, but they will come up in your tropical chart. And these are specifically related to your destiny. Your South Node and your North Node are all about karma and destiny. So where were we? My Virgo, I've got 4 Virgo placements. The Sun, North Node Virgo, Mercury, and Saturn. In Vedic, my Sun sign stays Virgo, but my Saturn and my Mercury placements jump to Leo. So you can see there is a Leo next to Mercury and there's a Leo next to Saturn. So this is me showing that I cross over between Virgo and Leo depending on which way you're looking at the sky. And so all of it is relevant. It's all relevant. It's not just about perspective. I'm not just being greedy here. These are all powerful players. And I believe that the fact that we have so many disparate systems and a tropical astrology that doesn't recognize the same things as Vedic astrology has actually been part of a veil that has been pulled down to stop us seeing the connections and stop us pulling the resonances and the symbolisms through every system as actually coming from the same place of creation. So my Virgo Leo energy is very powerful. And then I actually have a full embodied Leo from my Jupiter placement. So I have Jupiter in Leo in my tropical chart. And then that jumps to Cancerian in my Vedic chart. So that Jupiter jumps backwards to Cancer from Leo. So it always goes backwards in Vedic. So if I'm Virgo Saturn tropical, it jumps backwards to Leo in Vedic. If it's Jupiter in Leo in tropical, it jumps backwards to Cancerian in Vedic. Okay, so you can always know you're not going to suddenly be a Sagittarius if you were a Leo in one. You're going to be the one prior in the zodiac wheel. And those zodiacs are also fixed, painted onto the sky, never going to change. Where the planets move and the course of the ecliptic, which is the line of the sun that all planets move along, the central point of the sun is called the ecliptic. We are all on a tractor beam to the center point of the sun. And how that line moves over time is relevant to the equinoxes. So let's have a look. So we've got Saturn in Virgo. We've got Sagittarius in Neptune. So Neptune being a very small water planet compared to Uranus and Jupiter and Saturn, maybe Neptune is very small, but very powerful. And it's a water planet full of wisdom. And I happen to have Sag strong in that area. So I've got my little archer pointing a mirror reflection to the arrow of Sag here. We've looked at Jupiter, which is Leo. We've looked at the sun, which is Virgo. I've then got a very beautiful grand trine in Scorpio. This is a grand trine is where you have 3 planets in the same element. So either fire, water, air, or earth. Or you might have 3 planets. Sorry, you might have 3. Oh, it looks like my connection might be a bit unstable. Hopefully we're back. That's all good. It's there's a storm rolling into Mexico today. We've got some thunderstorms coming in. So it's now 36. Oh yeah, we started 10 minutes late, so it's cool. But yeah, that's why we're doing these inside, because of the potential for rain. And I want you to be able to hear me properly. So I have a grand trine in Scorpio. So a grand trine in water, but it happens to all be in Scorpio. But you might well have 3 planets all in water sign. So you might have a planet in Pisces, a planet in Cancerian, and a planet in your Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio placement, Scorpio house. Not necessarily. We don't always have a planet in every zodiac. However, if you don't have a planet in a particular zodiac or house, that planet is still important and that zodiac is still important. Just because you didn't have a planet adding more energy into that zodiac in your chart, that zodiac is still relevant. So, surprisingly, or maybe ironically, or maybe confirmatorily, I don't have any planets in Capricorn or Gemini, but I have so much other earth energy and other air energy. And there's quite an interesting story that comes through around Capricorn, the devil, and the twins that will come through in this journey that we're going to go on. So for me, it's very interesting that by their absence, by not having planets in those 2 areas, Capricorn and Gemini in my chart, it's the only 2 I don't have planets in. Everything else is planet heavy. It's by the very absence of those planets that has given me more resonance around what Capricorn and Gemini mean for me and how I'm attracting that energy in others into my world. Interesting. So let's keep going. So I've illustrated here my grand trine with Mars over here. You can see the Scorpio sign and the Scorpio sign symbol, and also here Uranus sitting in the void space right on the heart of the pathway from Pluto down to the sun. Immeasurable, immeasurable connection between Capricorn and Pluto, Capricorn, Pluto, Saturn, and all this wisdom pouring down through Uranus into the sun, where it bursts out as light for all of us to see. So my beautiful grand trine in water here jumps to Libra. So it goes back from Scorpio to Libra when you hit my Vedic chart. So my Mars and Venus become Libra. So they go from Scorpio to Libra, and so does my Uranus. So all three go from a grand trine in water in Scorpio and become a grand trine in air. Now that is crazy, because not only does it cross over from water to air, it crosses over from feminine to masculine as well, in that air is a masculine element and water is a feminine element. So I'm really, juicily entwined. Let's keep going. Okay. So we've got the moon, all the phases of the moon over the planet Earth. And then my moon is in Taurus in my tropical chart, and it jumps to Aries in my Vedic chart. So I've got a Taurus and Aries moon, very emperor-like. And I love that dichotomy. Again, Taurus being earth and air being fire. Aries being fire. I'm jumping again from that earth into the fire, feminine into the masculine energy. And like I say, my north node is in Virgo, and that's represented here by the bear. Now this bear has got three meanings. It's got three symbolisms here. First of all, my native American animal spirit guide is the brown bear. And I have a lot of resonance here. I can't remember. Yeah, I drew this bear. This is actually a sort of bear of three ways. So it's drawn like a brown bear, like a big grizzly bear, but its color is white like a polar bear, to represent the sort of two aspects of me, or the two sides, or even the tip of the iceberg, the tip and the full iceberg. And here you've got the blue eyes, which is actually showing it's a white walker bear. So it's a shapeshifter as well. So this bear is incredibly important to my ancestry, my spirit guides, my connection with nature. So I feel there's so much more than one resonance, and I wanted to bring that all through. My south node is Pisces. So I have South Node Pisces, North Node Virgo. You will see them as being opposites. Whatever your North Node is of the moon, your South Node is going to be the complete opposite. So you can always look on the zodiac wheel to work out what that is. But it will also be in your birth chart. And those don't change from my Vedic chart. Now, let me show you. So that's pretty much Vedic, and I think I've shown you everybody. So we'll go through the planets. We've got Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, the Moon, and the Earth. Okay? Then, as I say, we've got Nibiru, Marduk. I've got the moon up here to show where the moon was. It wasn't quite a full moon when I was born. I think it was a waxing moon. It was coming into fullness. And I'm born on the eve of the autumnal equinox. Every year, the autumnal equinox happens around, I just saw 4444. The autumnal equinox happens on the 21st of September. I was brought into the world on the 20th of September, and that means I was here present, sitting in lotus position and waiting for the autumnal equinox as a witness on that day. So it's beautiful that that always occurs just after I was born. So here, my birthday, 2009, 1978. When you add these numbers together, which we do in numerology, you will come down to a single digit. And that for me is a 9. So this is my life path number. You all have a life path number, and you get it by adding up your birthday, the date. So you would go for yourself, you'll add 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8. And you'll always get 9. Now that's my life path number, okay? You need to work out yours, but I can help you do that, and I'm going to help you do that in the days and weeks to come. But don't feel like you have to wait around for me. You can do this right now for you. And then read up a little bit about what that means. Just Google life path 2 or life path 4 or life path 33. If when you add up your birthday, if you get 11 or 22 or 33 or even 44, though I'm not sure if that would come through. I'd be really interested to know if anyone ever got a 44. But anyway, they are master numbers, or called angel numbers, and you don't need to add those two together again. You can do, and that will also be resonant. So 22 would be a 4, 33 would be a 6, 44 would be an 8. But you can also hold the symbolism of the master number in its entirety. So whatever life path number you get, Google that number as a life path number and say, what does this mean for me, Spirit? And you will find some gold there, me hearties. So I was born at exactly 6 o'clock in the evening, right on the crossover point between day and night. And it says it was twilight on a Wednesday. So I was born on a Wednesday. Some of you will know that I'm even called Mrs. Wednesday. That's my connection to Mercury and Thoth, because he governs Wednesdays. I was born at twilight on a Wednesday. This is my name written in the Phoenician alphabet. The Phoenician alphabet is where all of our languages have originated from. Sumerian, Babylonian, Latin, Hebrew, Greek, all of these languages originated from Phoenician origin. And the Hebrew letters are fully vital to the tree of life and have incredible power, and they are spookily similar to the Phoenician alphabet, and we will look at that in some fascinating detail. Here is my name, and when I say my name, I'm talking about my first name. I've used Sasha. I do have a middle name, which is Rosalind, and I do have a surname, which is Wallace. You can look at the symbolism of every letter in every one of your names, and it's a lovely thing to do, sit and do that. But for the purposes of this chart and probably for space, I have included only my first name. But on other documents and other artwork, I have actually done a far greater, more illustrated piece on my name, and we're going to do that together in the course as well. So here is my name in Egyptian hieroglyphics. We've got S-A-H-A. S-H-A. Or here, S-A-S-H-A. We've then got each of these cubes. We've got 2 cubes here, a cube here, here, here. Is that all of them? Yes. Oh, and here. These are from my Mayan calendar. So my Mayan birth chart, the Tzolk'in calendar, also has huge relevances and different spirit animals, different spirit guides that are pertinent and spiritual guides just for me based on where the planets were when I was born. And it actually gives you a little sort of star map journey. And so each of these, I'm not going to go into them, but these 2 are the most fundamental. This is Moloch. I am ruled by the god of water, which is Moloch in Mayan, Mexican, Aztec, Mayan theory. And this is Chikchan. This is the red electric serpent. So I have a moon of electric service. I am governed by the red electric serpent and also the god of water, Moloch. Pretty cool. I have some I Ching connections here. So I Ching comes from the Chinese study of divination. Beautiful use of coins and the differences between how the coins lie on the ground when you've thrown them. They give a different picture, a different sacred geometry each time. And that's so I can't sort of give you the full descriptions, but I've illustrated what this looks like. I've actually got a beautiful set of I Ching cards. They were the first divination deck I ever got when I was young, and I've had that since I was about 14 years old. It's very rare to find I Ching as cards, or at least it was back then. We're talking like early 90s. Very unusual, and I found a very divine deck, which is just the most beautiful artwork, and I've got it even to this day. I've got it with me here in Mexico, and I will definitely share it with you during the course. So yeah, I Ching is another is the way that the Chinese culture and ancestors looked at their ancestors. Okay, who else have we got on here? We've got Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus comes up a couple of times because I want to bring them back. The 13th zodiac sign, I actually have a huge amount of Scorpio and Sagittarius placements in my chart. Wow, the lights just got really bright. I think because I started talking about Ophiuchus, the lights just went crazy in here. Yes, the hidden path that sits between Scorpio and Sagittarius is Ophiuchus. The sun's elliptical path runs straight through Ophiuchus, and yet it is not honored in almost any astrological system on the planet, but its relevance to us and who we are and where we've come from and the real secret of life is all contained within Ophiuchus. And somehow they've been erased from the record. A coinkydink? I don't think so. So Ophiuchus is coming back out to play, people. And this is their symbol. So you're going to see that symbol a little bit. A little bit when it comes to me. I have great relevance with the numbers 369. So you can see the cat and the lion here are playing a game. They're actually playing a psychic memory game. It says play here. And this cat, which is like Bast or Sekhmet, one of my spirit guides from Egypt, is here. And Bast is guessing, is it 9? And Leo, my little Leo Lionsgate, is guessing, is it 3? And no, the answer was 6. I was born at 6 o'clock, but 9 is my life path and 3 is my magic number. And I was born at 6 o'clock. And there's a huge relevance and connection to Tesla. Tesla believed and understood and was trying to teach us. I just saw 5533. Tesla understood that if you understand 369, you will understand all the secrets of the universe. I'm not quite sure I found them all, but I've definitely figured some of them out, and I hope I can share some of them with you. Before we dip out of my birth chart, we're almost at the end. We've just gone through 55, and I'm going to keep these as an hour long because it is summer school. We're only out here having fun, okay? This isn't to be too much like hard work. But it is serious. So we are being really serious out here. These aren't no games. This is the game of destiny. But this is real. This magic is real. And every single one of these references that I've made, each one of these pictures, these symbols, each of them hold a power, each of them hold a gift, each of them hold treasure that can tell me more about who I am, that have taught me so much about who I am, that was lost on me before. Even though I've been spiritual and into tarot, divination, oracles my whole life, I didn't really know my birth chart until I went through my awakening. And I started to need to know far more than what my sun, my moon, and my rising sign meant for me. And my goodness, was it like falling down the holy rabbit hole, the holy rabbit hole. And it was. It is. Every single day it is. There is a couple of extra little symbols here. I've got this one, which is my rune symbol. Your rune symbol also comes from your date of birth. And my runic symbol is strength or force. It also represents Freya. So an F for Freya, daughter of the Norse gods. Okay. So the runes were the Norse giants' divination tool. And it was Odin, great god Odin, who had 2 crows of thought and memory. Left eye, right? 2 physical crows that would tell him all. It was Odin that, through mythology, we understood hung in the tree of life for 9 days, upside down, in order to make himself a sacrifice, in order to open himself to spirit and become a vessel, a channel, by understanding his tree of life. There's a lot of symbolism in these stories. There's a lot of subtext and subliminal messages coming through. So Odin supposedly hung upside down in the tree of life for 9 days. And at the end of his suffering, because this was an ordeal, this was a huge ordeal to be hung upside down, almost on a cross of wood, okay? Very similar to the idea of Jesus on the crucifix, being hung and attached, pinned to the tree so that he couldn't move. A cross of wood is the same as a tree of wood, okay? At the end of his ordeal, Odin was gifted with the runes. So it was like he was He was opened up to that spiritual knowledge forever by entering the tree of life and spending that time of reflection and pilgrimage. But at the end, he was gifted by an even greater spirit of God, the runes, so that he could then know forever what was powerful and important for his people through foreseeing, through seeing, through foresight, through prophecy, and to understand the cycles of nature that were going to affect his people and his future. So this was how the runes came about. So we have now reached an hour. I think that's everything. There's a few little extra bits. This bit here is a compass. So you can see there is an anchor here, but it's kind of like a little parachuting superhero hanging off the asteroid belt, parachuting or abseiling down on. Oh yeah, here comes the rain. I'm probably going to hear, it's probably going to get quite noisy now. This guy is like abseiling down off the asteroid belt on an anchor and down onto this compass. And the compass represents the north of fire and the south of water and the north of earth, of air, and the south of earth. So I'm bringing through all the elements, but the element of ether, the spirit, the essence, the fire, the magic that lives in everything is contained here in all of the color and all of the rainbows and all of the magic symbols and people. I have a little Thoth character here sitting presumably by the pyramids, but it's actually the scales coming down off Pluto, because I have Pluto in Libra. So I've represented these scales, and in the scales we've got the heart being measured against the feather of Mart. So Thoth the Atlantean was the overseer, the magisterium of the Hall of Amenti, where our hearts would be weighed against the feather of Mart. Mart being a feminine energy of justice, like Lady Liberty. It is against her heart, it's against her feather that all of our hearts are judged. At that point of judgment, when we've lived our lives, we are then brought forward to Thoth and Mart in order to be judged for our deeds in this life. And how we have conducted ourselves has all been written down in Thoth's Akashic record. Every thought, every emotion, every feeling, every intention, every word, every action, all of that is captured in the Akashic Records library. And so nothing you've ever done can be hidden. And all of your accomplishments, even if they were done in silence when no one was looking, everyone up there did see them. Nothing goes unnoticed. And whether that's good karma or bad karma, it's all been logged. So we need to think about that as we move through the world, that what trail of information and evidence do you leave that you don't even realize? What spiritual debris comes behind you? And that could be very positive or very negative. But if you think of us in a spiral, we're going around this journey, not in a straight line. We're going around in a circle, and we're eventually going to come around to the same point again. And everything you've done is reflected in that cycle, that pathway that you left behind you. So you want to leave good treasure on the path. You don't want to leave bad seeds. You want to plant good seeds so that when you come round again, they are blossoming into good karma and abundance for you, and not leaving a swamp of destruction that you've got to traverse again because you haven't learned your karmic lesson from before. So that's kind of a cool way to end this one. This is why it's a game of destiny. This is why it's a journey. This is why I am always learning. Every time I look at this, I will see more symbols that I hadn't even intended would appear on here. Things that just consistently reveal themselves when I'm ready to see them. And I'm ready. I'm so ready. And yet there are still things being revealed day by day. So never stop learning. Never stop being excited of understanding what tomorrow can hold, or even what yesterday was really about. And whether you took the right stuff from it, whether you're holding on to the negativity, the pain, the anguish, the anger, the resentment of things that are now in the past and no longer exist, and whether you've brought with you those lessons and the learnings from what you've been through, or whether you've left it all behind and you're just going to go through it again. Sometimes we need to just go through the lessons again until we really get it. Because there's no point moving forward onto the next part of the course or the next chapter if you didn't understand the chapter you're on. If you cannot answer a test or a quiz about the life, your own life, your own past year, then are you really ready to take on new, exciting adventures if you're not done with this one? So it's important to be in the moment with where you are in the world, not be looking too far back, not be looking in the rearview mirror. You should make sure you've brought everything with you. A little bit of luggage is okay. A little bit of carry-on is all right. We don't want to be dragging a big suitcase of baggage, but you do need your carry-on. There are some things that you need in your magic toolbox or your magic bag from the past. And your birth chart is the most important part of that journey. But the beautiful thing is it lives within you. It lives inside you. You don't need anything else but maybe access to Google and the ability to close your eyes and talk to spirit, because that's where you're going to get a huge amount of information. I'm going to leave it there. I am going to go off and enjoy a very exciting, beautiful day on the lagoon and have myself some pizza and some pasta. And when the rain has stopped, it's always a beautiful day out here in Mexico. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting this journey. You are helping me stay blessed in this situation that I'm in Mexico, allowing me to bring forth these beautiful tablets for you after quite a journey that I've been on in wanting to bring this forward to you. And I'm so pleased that you are here with me. I really would be very grateful and honored if you would support me with a donation. Whatever you are able to afford, you can donate to our channel and our mission at paypal.me/Bloom Healing. That will be in the description box after this message has gone out. And it is also in the About page of this channel. So please do donate. paypal.me/Bloom Healing. Your donations are making all of this worthwhile. Well, sorry, no, what I'm doing is making it worthwhile. Let's just keep it above. But your donations are helping keep me in pasta and pizza and amazing days on the lagoon, so that my balance and my journey is as beautiful and technicolor as this birth chart was. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's inspired you for when you're going to do yours. Maybe you're even checking out your birth chart now. don't forget to look for that link in the description box around finding your own birth chart for free, which is cafeastrology.com, and click on birth chart or natal chart when you get to that site, and it's completely free, and you can then really go digging into your own birth chart, into the magic, into the treasure, and I know that you're going to like what you find. Until next week, please come back. It is 1:10:11. I'm going to be here next week on Tuesday, 10 a.m. EST, 4 p.m. GMT, with week 3 of summer school. And that's going to be the 3rd Jade tablet. I love you guys. Stay beautiful. Don't stop learning, and be good to yourselves and be good to each other. Okay, let's spread a little bit more love around. Have a beautiful Tuesday wherever you are. And yeah, I love you. I'll see you soon. This has been Sasha, your green goddess, signing off. And we are literally going into 1:11. Bye.